Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 3. That was Gods trying to finish his lasagna. No time for food right now because we're in the not grand final, loser bracket finals between GEST Challenge, MUFC on one side, LGD Gaming on the other. And this is game number 3. Is your body ready, Gods?
Yeah, it is. Got my lasagna. Did all the business I need to do, and we got ourselves a game 3. Wouldn't have it any other way here. Last time we had ourselves, well, in the GST Challenge, some epic final day with all best of 3s and best of 5s going the full duration. Hopefully we get the same thing here with this best of 3 grand finals. But for now, game 3, first pick man coming up from LGD.int. Well, didn't work out too well from last game, but by no fault of G.
I mean, G played well most of the game. It just,
yeah.
I don't think the game was really in his hands, to really put it that way. Keeper of Light, Templar Assassin being banned out for LGD Gaming. Bat Rider and Nyx Assassin being banned out from MUFC. Despite the fact that they have the great Nyx, just the fact that they don't have first pick, they just can't leave that here on the pool. It's just too good.
Yeah, I think last game it was really the deciding factor for them. They get the Shadow Demon Darkseer themselves, so this time around they have the Darkseer, they get the Shadow Demon for Winter. Pick that over the Rubik. This does leave the Rubik for LGD, but I think this is back to the dual core. Maybe we go Lone Druid Lifesteal. This is almost the identical draft.
It is the exactly identical. Same pick order, exactly same everything.
What did they change with? What they third pick Queen of Pain last time?
Yes,
I think that's change.
It should not be a third pick Queen of Pain, followed by a Bounty Hunter Night Stalker.
Oh yeah, that was not the best draft for MUFC. Hopefully this time around they get something. I guess they go for the hard carry again, like Luna, maybe Anti, maybe not with this third pick, but I feel like with one of their last picks, they at least need to get a Void or PL or something different.
I feel like this combo is just simply too strong. They just have too much HP up in front, but they're not slow enough where you could dance too much around them unless you have Track, unless you have Blink, unless you have Night Stalker. In which case, you lack the damage to actually take down this lineup. So this lineup is just simply too well balanced. Once you drop that RP, everything else is going to follow through. They are going to pick up Leshrac right now. And I'm not sure that what that entails because Leshrac could be the carry. Although I don't think he will out-carry any of these heroes, he could be that support that you do want to have high AoE damage. And in combination of Shadow Demon, that's a pretty good duel.
Yeah, it's a pretty damn strong duo, and I think more than anything is they want to have a strong early to mid game, because I think that was a key thing for them in the last game. They had the Nyx, the Rubik, they had all these sort of early to mid game centric heroes, which got them that early lead, and from there on out they managed to stay relatively far ahead and actually at least always stay in contention until late game. Well, they made the right decisions. They had the better team fight. So they see this dual core strategy with Lone Druid and Lifesteal, the two carries, also Magnus, a potential solo mid. They want to make sure they have a strong tri lane. They want to make sure they maybe ban out the two junglers here, the Chen the Enchantress, and then control the early game and play the early game on their own terms.
Also, I want to say that, again, LGD is representing some very, very powerful laning versatility. Lifestealer, as well as Lone Druid, could go on the long lane. Magnus, in certain cases, can do as well, but LG Gaming never runs it like that. Of course, all 3 of these heroes could save lane or mid, so it's going to be a nightmare for MUFC to predict these lanes without seeing the last 2 picks. So, again, LGD Gaming working with some extra information, if you will, here, as they ban out Luna, and perhaps going to be banning out another hardcore carry as well.
Yeah, this is... I imagine mostly going to be sort of targeted bans at carries, or at least heroes with do pack some DPS, or potentially solo mids when you got the offlane Darkseer, the 2 supports already picked up.
They banned the Kunkka last time, so...
Yeah, Kunkka ban. Even I guess you could look at a Queen of Pain ban if you're worried about these sort of early game dominant heroes, but no, it's going to be an Anti-Mage ban, so no Anti-Mage for Hon Trash player. If they want to carry now, it's probably going to be either PL or Faceless Void, being the 2 main ones left in the pool.
Yeah, Faceless Void was the ban choice last time for LGD Gaming.
Yeah.
This one, it's just as good here if they do pick it up here for MUFC.
So one more ban coming up from Winter. They haven't actually banned out the junglers, and I think that was something they handled really well last game. The Chen the Enchantress in the offensive jungle, they didn't have any issues dealing with that. And Shadow Demon Leshrac, just as strong as what they had the Rubik Lina last game. So I think Shadow Demon Leshrac is a good duo to have to worry if you're worried about those offensive jungles. So I think more than anything, Winter's saying, hey, I hope they get an offensive jungler here. Let's leave Chen or Enchantress for them, because back in game 1, they banned both of them out. And I think they're thinking, hey, we can actually deal with it pretty well. It worked out for us in game 2. Let's see how we do again in game 3.
They're going to ban out Chen. I mean, to be fair, I think Darkseer is a lot weaker as a secondary support, if you will, in that tri-lane offensive. Yeah. So they did also pick up a first blood against that jungle. Got to keep in mind that MUFC had a beautiful start, I think 5-0 at one point for MUFC. So they were able to take that game with that powerful lead to late game and then win it like that. I'm not sure. You can't count LGD in the game, early game. They're just good at winning every single lane. Even when MUFC won their lane, they were getting pretty outfarmed, as I recalled. Unless I was recalling the wrong game.
Yeah, that's right. So, fourth pick now for LGD International. They need some supports, and that's been entirely what's banned out. I guess the question is, do you get the Enchantress with one of these two supports? Do you get yourself a jungle, or do you just go back to your sort of more standard supports? As we actually running a Windrunner. Well, not as a support, they run it as a sort of offlaner, but that's something they can run as a support, but they're just going to grab Jakiro for the time being. So, look to just set up maybe a strong offensive trial, or maybe they just play this a bit more standard.
Yeah, I like the Shiro pickup here. It gives them the range. Not exactly a very reliable lockdown. It's a good follow-up to RP, obviously, with the Macro Pyre, Dual Breath, and everything else. But let's say if MUFC picks up a very, very hard-to-catch carry or hard-to-catch hero, particularly, Ice Path is not going to cut it. RP can be used, but again, not a very spammable spell. So that's what we saw last time with things like Night Stalker and a Quap. They just dance all around LGD Gaming's very, very HP heavy, but very immobile, lack of range, if you will, lineup. And we're seeing a very, very similar lineup here. Jakiro's going to help with that, but if MUFC wants to kind of race around them, they can.
Yeah, and if they want to get, they need something sort of for that lockdown later on. They need to get something maybe like a Sand King as a support, but Sand King doesn't really fit with that offensive trial. He really struggles there at the early levels. He needs to get some levels of his own for that lockdown. So options for LGDN are probably few and far between as far as having that additional lockdown to go with. They're entirely relying on Magnus Ultimate to get off those kills, and as you mentioned, not at all spammable. MUFC haven't picked up really any of their damage-dealing heroes. They can go for the Queen of Pain if they want, something which they do play a lot, although we just haven't seen much success with by MUFC or other teams. Vici Gaming ran a lot of Queen of Pain, and well, where are they now? They were the first team knocked out of this GST challenge. So once again, it is going to be Queen of Pain, though. Let's see if MUFC can finally make this hero work.
I mean, again, it's a hero that's decent in the sense that she won't die too much, especially against this lineup, but what is she going to do being alive in a team fight? Acceptor is a very legitimate choice that we saw Han Trash player go, especially if these team fights don't get finished very, very quickly. But on the other side, we're looking at these very squishy heroes like Shadow Demon Leshrac, a single Ice Path, and a couple of Reclicks. They're dead.
10 seconds.
Yeah, one more pick for LGDN, and all these squishy heroes on this MUFC side have to be, MUFC team have to be very careful. If we go back to game one where Lifestealer, Lone Druid, Mag were the top three farming heroes at around the 10 minutes into the game, if something similar like that happens here, Shadow Demon Leshrac just become food. Even Queen of Pain with proper lockdown, which doesn't really exist just yet with just the Jakiro and the Mag ultimate, can be very, very squishy. So for LGD, they're going to have to think about where do they go for the lockdown, or do they just go for something like an Enchantress? So Enchantress still works because you can just get that early game snowball happening. You can win as many lanes as possible and just try to win on sheer item advantage rather than looking to have the lockdown and the team fight you need. For MUFC, they've got this strong nuking mid-game lineup, but they have to have the good lanes, the good strong lanes to actually get to that stage.
Yeah, last time LGD International picked up a Misery Gyrocopter here, and they're going to go with Lion. I think this is a perfect item, perfect hero choice. Given that lockdown they need desperately against the Queen of Pain, and obviously it's going to good against Darkseer as well. So this is going to be really pushing MUFC's button. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to pick. Before this pick, I was going to suggest something like Obsidian Destroyer or Outworld Destroyer, whatever OD he's called now. I don't even know the name, because his spell set is really, really good against this kind of a high HP, low intelligence item lineup that LG Games got. But with the Lion pickup, suddenly everything gets changed. OD is not going to be survivable enough against the Lion initiation. So we'll see what MUFC end up going for.
If they go for the standard safe option, with that normally going to be a faceless void, but I have a feeling their standard and safe hasn't been working against LGD, and it hasn't been working against Orange Esports, so if anything, they need to look to change up their style of play just a little bit, which can well come by just playing a different carry. Maybe even something like a Shadow Fiend, I think, is a hero with a lot of DPS. And Shadow Fiend. Alright. So it's high DPS, you get the minus armor from the aura. This hero can sit back and deal with, well, Lifestealer quite well, Lone Druid, the Bear to some extent, and Mag, if you stay out of the RP, you can do a lot of damage in these fights.
Here's the thing, Shadow Fiend's the snowball hero. MUFC gotta win that early game. If they don't, this game, like Shadow Fiend's just basically a dead weight if you don't get really, really far ahead, especially against this kind of grid opening initiation from things like Hex, from Ice Path, from Open Wounds, or even Entangle. You know, that's an initiation in itself. So very, very risky pick in my opinion, but let's see if it's going to pay off for MUFC.
Yeah, and With this pick and the lone druid in the lineup for, well, with the lone druid on the other team, as well as this potential offensive trial, and he could be put on some early game pressure. Hero Lifestealer as an offensive trial lane, not the best. You've got the two ranged heroes who can harass a bit, but all their spells at level 1 not all that strong. So possibly just look at a solo Lifestealer in the offlane, or even just going straight into his own jungle. But at the same time, there's not really a whole lot they can do protecting the lone druid. We've actually seen Mag often playing that safe lane, but it looks like this time around he's going mid. We are going to see G playing the Mag at mid. Pycat, he's on the lone druid, going to that safe lane, and then what looks to be an offensive trial with 1437 on Jakiro, Misery online, and then finally the Lifestealer played by Brax.
Yep, meanwhile on the other side here, TFG is going to be playing that Queen of Pain once again on that safe lane. Trash player going mid, it seems like, here with Shadow Fiend. That's the first time I've ever seen him go mid. Winter going to be playing that Shadow Demon as per usual. We have Wang Wang going to be playing the support Leshrac, and FZ on the dark side. Doesn't FZ usually play the Shadow Fiend?
This is the first time I've seen him play Shadow Fiend. FCFC not really their Shadow Fiend player, but often plays the mid lane. He plays more sort of TA, the puck. But this is the first time I've seen them run Shadow Fiend in quite some time. But I think it's more a hero for Trash player. FC also plays the Queen of Pain somewhere with TFG there. He's going to be handling the safe lane Queen of Pain. Yeah,
as you mentioned, I think yesterday or during the broadcast for GSC Challenge, is that MUFC has these players that play multiple roles and plays it fairly well. We see Wang Wang switch it up. Sometimes he play hard support. Sometimes he plays, the off lane with Nigma. So these players definitely has the versatility and the cards up their sleeve to pull out a big surprise like this.
Well, they're going to be going offensive trialing up against Lone Druid, perhaps here. They've got 3 heroes at least heading bottom. Shadow Demon Leshrac could just be going there for some early warding, but if they were doing just that, Winter wouldn't have taken this little detour here. So they get the ward near the bottom rune spot, and this is something where Pycat could just get very little to no XP at all. He's not going to be expecting this, maybe. If he's expecting it, he could send his Spirit Bear behind the tower to pull the wave to him, but this is going to be very, very dangerous for him. And if MUFC really want, they put a ward behind the tower, they look for some early kills, and then Queen of Pain at top can just survive against this lane. They can't really kill him at level 1. Maybe around when Lion hits level 2, level 3, you get the Impale as well as Hex with a couple points, but Ice Path isn't that long of a disable, and, well, Lion disables at level 1 aren't all that strong either.
Yeah, it really is not. So they're going to be starved in terms of EXP. Now, one thing, especially if he's going to get the solo Queen of Pain, she really can't do anything about this pull from this high-level camp to the left, which is, I think, what the Radiant team will be taking advantage of. Not only are you denying a lot of EXP to the Queen of Pain, she can't do anything about it. Your supports are getting leveled, that crucial level 2 that you mentioned, and then the tower dives become a lot easier and a lot safer as well.
Yep, and the bad news for LGD is they're not going to scout these lanes until lanes actually come. Often you see wards being placed in lane, or heroes walking past wards in the river early on, but they're not going to see this offensive trialing until it's too late to switch it up or do anything about it. Probably even too late for the lone druid to send his Spirit Bear behind tower, unless they really anticipating this, which would I would be really surprised if they were. Then maybe we see him send the Spirit Bear to pull the creep wave from behind the tower, but I think it's very unlikely. We may see a very quick first blood on lone druid if Pycat's not careful.
Yeah, on the same token though, if this thing gets scouted out very, very late, I imagine the rotation will still come from Winter's team. Send up Shadow Demon, send up the Leshrac, and basically play a Shrine Lane like they did in Game 1. Hopefully nobody dies, and then allow the Queen of Pain to slowly EXP up and farm up. But with that said, by that time that rotation comes, I think Misery and as well as 1437 could be hitting that level 2 very, very quickly by, again, doing the pulls and whatnot.
I think they're actually... I think they're hoping it's Pycat at bottom. I think they actually want to do the trial lane against the solo lone druid personally.
Okay.
I think the way LGD.int plays that it's almost always this offensive trial. Maybe they're expecting Brax to be in the jungle with a trial lane at bottom, but I think even if they get Pycat at bottom lane, they're pretty happy with the lane they've got just because of how easily they can kill him and keep him basically under farm. Pycat's such basically a player who needs that farm and XP so badly. He's going to scout the Darks here, and well, it looks like Shadow Demon and Leshrac are going to rotate top anyways, but maybe going for an early smoke gank. Have they got one? Yeah, Leshrac has smoke.
Yeah, so Wang Wang's been holding that smoke since minute 1, so... Yeah, I just feel like that once the level 2 gets on the support, TFG can't actually go in the lane anymore, and that's kind of a big liability. So they need at least the Shadow Demon there to protect him with the disruption, but when you have the Shadow Demon there, might as well have Wang Wang there as well to EXP in your jungle. But let's see if LG, once they realize this lane, whether they're going to switch. I feel like if you're LGD, you're still very comfortable in the lane because if a fight ever breaks out, you win. The thing is, the Dire don't ever want a fight break out. They just want to EXP up. As I say that though, they're leaving the lane once again. They went there to drop a ward and they're now roaming together with perhaps a very, very deep smoke.
Yeah, they haven't used one just yet, and the fact they're not looking to pull or do anything right just yet, they are going to maybe venture towards top. I guess they're waiting to see if it's a trial on top or not, because they're not even 100% sure themselves where these supports are going to be. They're still just sitting around here in their own jungle. The smoke is there, and it looks like they are going to swing towards either mid or bottom lane.
Well, they did see the shockwave first on G, so if they want to go for the kill, it's going to be open until that level 2 comes. Looks like they're going to smoke bot. This is one of the best smokes. I love smoking bot like this. I love what FCFC is also doing. He's going to be basically stopping the creep wave from coming, force Pycat to be under the tower focus, or the creep wave to be under the tower focus, and this is going to make the dive so much easier.
Yeah, but they didn't even... There was no wards at the bottom lane. I guess they were just doing it to make sure, but when they see the trail on top, they'll realize there shouldn't be any wards near the bottom lane protecting Pycat, and this could well be a first blood coming very soon. They're smoked up still, and they will be looking for this kill, probably with this next creep wave.
Yeah, but it's going to be tough here. Pycat, look at his positioning. He's so close to that jungle. It's going to be tough for them to dive in, and he's going to use his bear, pick up a stout shield, basically delay that creep wave from coming in. That smokes is gone, and they do have the damage from the disruption as well as Split Earth, and basically the Iron Shell follow up. But look at FZFZ. He could be the one going down. Perhaps a very smart bait. There's going to be a disruption. The Split Earth's going to follow through, and the Iron Shell's on Wang Wang. He's got to get close. He's not getting close. He's right-clicking, but he surged up, and I think that's going to be it here for Pycat. The bear gets resummoned, but it's not going to be enough. The first blood gets drawn here by the Iron Shell. That's the best thing that could have happened for MUFC.
Yeah, Darkseid's still getting the first blood, and here comes the rotation from the LGD.int supports. They realize, oh, trial and burst trial happening bottom. And, well, here we go. Lion as well as Jakiro are there to help contest this trial at bottom, although they are going to find themselves in a bit of trouble. Shadow Demon looking for a disruption. Can he get it? He's going to be disabled first. Ice Path comes in, hits Winter as well, but there's not enough damage.
That Split Earth hit nothing. That was a huge misplay by Wang Wang. They maybe could have gone for it if they had the Iron Shell coming in, but this is time to back off. But with that said, the boots of Tranquil boots already up here on the FCFC, and I think he's very, very fine playing a trialing like this now.
Well, he's a bit low on mana. He hasn't gone straight for the soaring, so he is somewhat mana dependent now. He's got one clarity there. We'll have enough for at least a couple of Iron Shells, maybe even a third soon. But this trial at bottom needs to make something happen for MUFC. Braxy's going to be in the 1v1 matchup against TFG at top. Mid lane, you've got a somewhat even matchup between Mag and SF, but this trial at bottom, you have to be very, very careful with.
Yeah, and of course, Brax now is going to have a tiny bit issue here with TFG. The right hit's going to be coming quick and hard against Brax, and there's a Shadow Strike, going to force Outrage, which is fine with the Queen of Pain. But back in the mid lane here, who do you think this matchup really favors in the long run?
I think it's fair. I think, if anything, it's slightly better for the Mag. I don't think he's going to be out farming the SF, so to speak, but I think it's just a hero who, with the levels and farm, can do a whole lot more than an SF. So I think SF does well in the safe lane, because he doesn't have to go and get involved. He can just keep on farming. SF at mid lane suffers from some similar problems as a lone druid. Sure, you can maybe out-farm your opponent and win the lane, but once you get to around the 6, 7, 8 minute mark, your mid lane hero is normally one who needs to roam around the map a bit more.
Yeah, I guess the threat of multiple Shadow Rays pushing the lane is what's going to keep G in the lane. He could gank. He sure can. It's just that when he ganks, he might suffer some damage. It looks like initiation on the bot lane here. And Wang Wang is just not on top of it with his Split Earth, now missing one after the Shadow Demon disruption. Now, timing can be difficult if you're doing it for the first time, but you shouldn't be missing these.
No, not at all. Pycat now finds himself some safe, easy farm. He's already level 4 as well. Despite getting ganked in game first, but if he hits level 5 soon, this LGD trial line suddenly gets really scary when there could be a potential entangle coming out. And even with Lion as well as Jakiro not being the best trial line supports, they can get a kill if they hit a lucky entangle. Lineup's level 2, maybe around the level 3 mark. With Jakiro level 2 with a dual point and dual breath, we could see some aggression coming out from the Radiant side there.
Haste Rune up on Winter. Yeah, let's not forget about that entangle. That's like 50 damage per second for a couple of seconds. Something ridiculous like that here. And G sees it coming, but the Haste Rune will follow through. Is he going? Is he going? He's going to get the disruption. Unfortunately, oh, there's a disruption. Wang Wang's got to hit this one. He will hit it perfectly on top. The Razors are coming in. You can see Soul Catcher is providing so much extra damage. And that's a second kill. Again, back to what we said, MUFC needs to have that good early start because they're playing kind of snowball lineup. They're getting that good early start on the Shadow Fiend as well as on the Darkseer.
Yeah, I feel MUFC, even regardless of their draft, they're a team who's so dependent on the first 5-10 minutes of the game going well. That's really where they start to set the tempo. If they fall behind, they're not a team who really is good at clawing their way back in and playing sort of a waiting game, waiting for their opportunities. They need to get ahead early, and then they look to sort of seal the deal playing a slow, methodical game. Mid lane G's TP back in. He's going for a lot of harassing on the Shadow Fiend. He's actually playing very far up here. It does force him way out of the lane, but there's Another rotation coming in. This time it's from the two LGD supports. They're looking to wrap around, try and kill off this SF. They know he's an important hero to gank, especially after he's just got himself a kill.
Wang misses another splitter up top, but no mana here for the Lifestealer, and he basically runs from here. This is back to due to the good Shadow Strike harassment. Every time you Shadow Strike, of course, Brax will be dodging them, but burning that very precious mana on him as well. Back in the mid lane, looks like the Radiant support wanting to do the same roam, but Shadow Fiend, he could easily push out the wave with multiple raises. So he should never be in danger. Yeah, as I say that, that's exactly what he's doing.
Yep, he's not even going out for these last hits. He knows these two supports are missing, and well, he's going to walk right into him, and this is fine for him. Those two supports can't kill him without the mag, and mag is too far away to get there in time during an ice path or a stun duration from the line. So he scouts him out and gets out. Now it's nighttime, so now those ganks are going to be a lot easier to pull off. But it's already MUFC up 3 kills to nothing. They just need to get a couple of wards up, get some more map control for themselves, as he's still just throwing these long ranges.
Yeah.
He's not getting much fun, but at least he's getting some, and he's not putting himself in any danger whatsoever. Bottle comes in with Magic Wand and a Belt of Giant Strength as well, so he's now up to over 800 HP. Killing him suddenly becomes very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, all Han Trash player need to do at this point is make sure he's level 7, and of course, once he has Bottle Regen, he's going to just raise every single creep wave. The creep wave is always going to be in G's face, and sure, he can farm it with Shockwave on the tower or whatever, but did I just hear an infest? Yes, we did. This is going to be an early gank on Magnus. I don't think they even expect something like this. Is it going to go back mid for the Han Trash player? I think so. I think that's the aim of it. No, it's going back up. G got to make up his mind. He's going to skewer forward. It's going to go into 2. Oh, he thought about it.
I think he saw the Leshrac and decided better of it. Leshrac still lurking nearby, and Han Trash play as well as MUFC, they still don't know that Lifesteal is inside this mag. They may be thinking they can, let's try bait mag in, but little do they know there's going to be a Lifestealer popping out as well. And this ward from LGD.int, scouting out a lot on the high ground above mid lane.
Those mid lane wards always very important. G playing very aggressive. Where's the RP being dropped? Open wins on Wang. That's going to be a free kill. As I say that, the raises, the nukes are coming right now. Brax Raise going to be running out. He does block one, the raise of it. 1437 comes in as well, but here comes a Queen of Pain. Where's the Shadow Strike? There it is on 1437. Dual Breath is going to come, but that's going to be yet another kill. Queen of Pain picks this one up. With the Infest being used for that kill, and of course TFG TPing in, I still think this MUFC team coming ahead.
Yeah, Lifesteal spent so much time infesting that mag where he wasn't farming, he wasn't getting XP, and well, a kill goes the way of Queen of Pain. Shadowfiend getting some gold on XP from just being in range as well for it. So a nice little trade going in LGD's favor, I think. Both teams just losing their hard support. So end of the day, it does favor MUFC because Lifesteal wasted a bit too much time there for my liking.
Yeah, again, it's not only MUFC winning right now, they'll be winning for the next 10 to 15 minutes as well. Lifestealer needs to get very farm. Pycat needs to get very farm on his spear as well. Keep in mind how game 1 happened with the exact same hero. They got things like quick blink daggers, they got quick maelstrom, I believe, and of course Lifestealer was just fat beyond measures, and they were able to basically kill everybody they saw. This game totally different, and without farm on Lifestealer and Pycat, they are just different heroes.
Yeah, it really is different. This game's gone completely different to that game 1 as far as who's farming and where the farm's happening. In game 1, the offensive Trallin for LG International secured Lifestealer complete free farm. They had free farming Lone Druid in a 1v1 matchup, and the mid lane for Mag it was Lone Druid in mid lane and Mag in the safe lane. All those solo heroes were winning their lanes essentially. So this time around, it's slightly different. Lone Druid is leading in terms of farm. Mag is actually up there ahead of the Shadow Fiend as well, but both those two heroes pretty much dead even right now. And as far as Shadow Fiend's concerned, he's going to be quite happy with that because the supports for LGD have spent a lot of time near this mid lane, putting on pressure and making him play very, very safe.
Yeah, speaking of supports, with that level, Misery as well as 1437 is not going to be useful at all. Whereas Darkseer Disruption will always be a good spell to use. Soul Catcher, all he needs to do is drop it down, watch his teammates do the magic. So I feel like the supports without level is also going to be benefiting MUFC. So this game so far, it's really in their favor.
Yeah, MUFC support's not really at all level dependent compared to the Lion-Jick hero, but they've got the levels, whether level dependent or not. They're level 5, level 4, while the Radiant support's level 3 and level 2, which makes a big difference in what they can actually do and when they get involved in these team fights. Lion, just a level 2 Earth Spike, he's a long way away from a Finger of Death. Unless he gets involved in some kills where he gets some big XP, he's going to be a long time under level. And Jakiro, this is a hero who more now than ever needs those levels because that Ice Pass no longer does much damage at all at level 1.
It really, really is tough here for the LG team. I wonder what's going to be their path of comeback, if you will. I don't think they could sit here and basically farm their way back. And that's perhaps why you can see that Brax is going for those ganks with the Magnus, with the Infest.
Yeah.
But just too much time being wasted. I think Misery as well as 1437 need to really pick up the slack. And it's not like they've been playing bad, it's just their heroes are just not designed for this stage of the game.
Yeah, the two supports who can't really offer a whole lot at early levels, and the path of comeback, the only hero who can come through is the Mag. You mentioned he's going to start ganking or at least making some plays happen because he's the only playmaker who can look to get kills, win team fights for LGD. Lion and Jakiro can if they have levels. Maybe not so much farm, just a Lion with some levels can do some smart smoke ganks, but Lion Jakiro with no levels means it's only Mag who can set up kills and good team fights, and we're seeing Mag rotate towards the bottom lane. If they can get like a kill on the Darks here, which goes to the lone druid and a T1 tower. It looks like the T1 tower is going to go down regardless. It's deniable. And that's probably why we see Mag rotate here. He wants to make sure they get this T1 tower.
So we're going to have our game unpause. Everybody fixing those ping issues. TFG trying to get some farm on the top lane, but Lion is just waiting for the level 2 Impale and a Hex. But looks like Winter's going to get in position. Suddenly Misery, perhaps in a little bit of trouble on his own. There's a haste room being used, so they can't even go on him. And suddenly here comes TFG. Rage is going to dodge a Shadow Strike. A lot of punches being traded, but nobody really fell.
T1 tower at bottom goes to LGD, and Dark's unable to defend on his own, especially with Mag coming out. And they're maybe going to look to go in for a kill here, or at least look to pressure this T2 tower. They're pinging. They're going to try to get an entangle. If they get an entangle, I think they're going for this kill.
But here's the thing, every time that Mag's going off the lane, this is exactly what's going to happen on the mid. Meanwhile, a little bit of jungle fight here. 1437 is going to TP out. That's 137 gold down in drain, and no support onto the mid lane. Finally, Brax TP's in.
137? Where have you been buying your TP scrolls from, Lumi? You're getting ripped off.
I am getting ripped off. Man, that guy. Discrimination against the Chinese buyers.
Yeah. Normally it's the other way around. At least when I'm in Asia, they look at me and like, this guy's got more money than our normal customers.
Yeah, man. In any case, Wang level 4, going for the Lightning build. I actually like the Lightning build a lot more. Obviously, the Edict is going to be very, very good for early game damage. We did see, I think, 1437 go for that build in game number 1. But in this particular game style, especially when you're basically depending on Soul Catcher for extra damage, that secondary nuke is going to be very, very helpful.
Yeah, I think this game is definitely a game to go for the nuke because they want to stay ahead. They want to be getting kills here, and Lightning Storm is going to offer that extra long-range burst damage, which they need. So for now, MUFC, despite being ahead, they're looking to sort of settle down just a bit. They've got the 2 supports, still getting active moving. Winter's actually hit level 6 now, so he's got the Demonic Purge on the playing field, which makes even just killing off G. If he skewers away and you've already cast Purge on him, you can easily catch up and apply some more damage to actually finish off the kill. SF with Treads, Bottle, level 8, so looks like mid lane is where they want to make something happen. Disruption, Leshrek's on the follow-up. This should be the death of G. Double Razors coming in, Soul Catcher amplifying that damage so much. An easy pick-off once again going the way of MUFC.
And again, that Lightning Storm doing the extra damage needed to seal the deal for Wang to get that kill. On Trash player, going to be pushing this. This is a nice ice path to slow down the push, but Tier 1 tower is going to go down for sure. The question is who's going to get the last hit. Shadow Fiend didn't get it. Looks like Darkseer with his illusions was able to pick it up. Back at the top lane here, Impale going on TFG. Can they get that kill? No, he just blinks away. Oh no, and this is exactly what I mean. It was Lion was level 5 or something. That was a free kill. The levels here just are killing LG right now.
Yeah, it's very level dependent supports, and when you go with that offensive trialing right from the start, you're not going to get those levels. Even in a trialing versus trialing scenario, you're not going to get the same levels as you do with the safe lane trialing because you've got pulls, you can stack, you can pull, you can double pull. You get levels, you even get some farm on your supports using this, but they went for a really risky and dangerous strategy with this offensive trialing.
Brax, of course, sends a bear to scout, sees a hero, first hit in Tango.
Yeah.
He's going to be fine. But what he's not going to be fine about is this push coming in. One thing that these 2 support duo is also very weak against is they really lack pushing or anti-pushing power. Impale, too short of range, doesn't do enough damage. Of course, Jakiro's Ice Path is okay, but again, not exactly good at wiping out creeps. So if the Dire ever decides to do a push, they really can't stop it. Like we saw in Tier 1 mid, they just had to see the tower fall.
Yeah, it's one of those things with this Dire team. They're not, apart from Queen of Pain, they're not all that good at moving around the map. We do see Shadow Demon, Leshrek going for a lot of smoke ganks, but they're now starting to see their towers take a fall. So this is what LGD are going to try and do to claw back in this game. They're actually not that far behind as far as gold goes because they've been getting Tier 1 tower at bottom and now probably a Tier 1 tower top. And after that, they're pretty much back to even.
Yeah, which is a scary dot here, right? You completely shut them down. In the laning stage, you're getting multiple kills, but Pycat and his team still getting some farms, still getting some gold. And like I said, these heroes use gold very, very well because they are innately tanky. You don't need too much more for them to become really legitimate semi-carries.
He's an infest into the Mag again at top lane. And Mag still no Blink Dagger. That's the one thing which if LGD.int can get in the next couple of minutes, then we're really on equal terms here. Because with the Blink Dagger and Mag, they can team fight anything. Mag going to be the first one to TP in with the Lifestealer. Saves Lifestealer some gold. But more than anything, they just want to defend these towers. And that's really how they can get in this game. Take towers, defend towers.
RP being faked out here. Wait, oh, there's going to be a free kill here. RP being used. There's the RP. Infest going to come out. And they're going to get FC. Not only that, getting some neutral kill along that as well. But here comes... Oh, I don't think MUFC should take this fight. RP is down, but they just don't have enough HP to really sustain it. Meanwhile, back in top lane here. Highcap perhaps a little bit of trouble to the double damage of TFG. Where are the roots at? No, it's Winter with that purge. Insane amount of damage. Winter, though, perhaps a little bit of trouble. He's actually going to try to go for the kill. One more hit. Oh, so close. Winter was going to die in one extra hit.
I think he's probably yelling TFG, like, just use your ultimate, man. I don't care if you can kill him without him. Save my life. Oh, it was so close to turning that around. I like what LGD did at bottom lane with the Mag solo RP on Darkseer. At this point, any kill they can get is an important kill, and they take out Darkseer with a solo RP. Unfortunately, losing Lone Druid at top lane is not worthwhile for LGD International. That's a nice little pickup going the way of MUFC.
I think they're okay with that trade. Sure, 1-for-1 a Darkseer for a Lone Druid is you know, you're losing out in a sense. But G's getting closer and closer to that Blink Dagger. Again, that's their avenue of comeback. Once they get their Blink, suddenly everything is, you know, you can actually go for those pickoffs. And more pickoffs they're getting, it's going to be better. They see, Wang. Look at how fast that bear is. Where's that Entangle? Skewer's going to hit for sure, right? Shockwave.
There's no way out of this. He's got no backup. Well, there's backup coming from below. It's Queen of Pain actually blinking in here with the Scream, but Queen of Pain's low on mana, does not want to be fighting this. Just let Wang go, and they do that. So another kill goes to G, and that's 1,700 gold for him now. So Blink Dagger getting closer and closer.
And again, Infest going to defend that tower as well. Shadow, Hontrash player thinks it's safe, and Hontrash player going to throw a lot of kills away. Where's the Skewer defensively? There is a disruption defensively. Hontrash player still running away. Shockwave pulling down 1 second, and that's so tanky. And he might be raising his way back. Both raises will miss out cleanly. Winter trying to help his teammates survive. And he's going to just run the other way. Is he going to make it out there too? Yeah, he will.
He should. Oh, Lifesteal's on the chase, so he's got phase boots here. Next phase, he may actually catch up with an open wounds. Oh,
he's got Shadow Amulet. He should be fine. He can Shadow Amulet right now, and he does.
Is it fast enough?
Oh
no! It's the fade time is so low. That item on its own is so useless because of that fade time.
Hey man, don't hate. Plus 30 attack speed.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough. Well, it's not going to be enough to save his life, as we do see Darkseer as well as Mag. Darkseer brings down the Mag. They're clashing out. Brax trying to fight his way out of this one. Leshak will be there with the stun. Second, can they bring down Darkseer in time? Queen of Pain there. Scream saves Darkseer's life, and 2 more kills going to MUFC. In comes the support. So what are the supports doing? Misery. He's going to get himself up to level 6, level 7. Now Finger of Death is in the playing field. Can he get off Winter? No! Not enough damage. 87 HP, not very well calculated there, and 1437 can get brought down. 4 heroes now on the sidelines for LG International. A scrappy fight, and one, well, 4 for 1, or was it a 4 for 2? I think it's still okay. I mean, it's not good for LGD, but they get a tier 2 tower at top for Pycat. They're split pushing well. They kill off the Darkseer. They killed Shadowfiend, yeah, so 4 for 2. I think that was actually okay. That was the best 4 for 2 you're ever going to get for LGD International.
It's still pretty bad. G dying there. Blink Dagger being delayed, so they're not going to be happy. But yeah, they got the tower up top, so not exactly the most loss you could possibly incur. I just want to point out that all these fights they're so damn close that if anything that went a little bit better for LGD earlier, like let's say again, I keep going back to this point. If Twin Head Dragon has an extra level, if Lion has an extra level, they win that fight. So these fights are so close, and because of the earlier MUFC advantage they have gotten, they're getting more advantage because of that. And it looks like we're going to see a Hex. Yeah, TFG in big trouble. They're going to chain sense this one perfectly, and they're going to get a kill.
Yeah, another little pickup going the way of LG International, and every little one they're getting, and pickups on key heroes as well. That Queen of Pain, Shadowfiend, Darkseer, these are the key heroes they're killing. Sure, they lose 4 for 2 that last fight, but they're losing their 2 supports as well as maybe their 2 solos. But Pycat's getting towers and making stuff happen, and now they're going to try and make something happen at mid lane. Darkseer wall being used here, but FCFC, is there an entangle? Icepod's going to hit Hontrash play, but this is a fight that they can't take. They've got to retreat here. The Icepod buys them some time, but Queen of Pain blinks in, takes up Misery. Best thing they can do here is make sure they don't lose any more, but they may do just that. Hontrash player in biz up, 1437 going to be brought down. Recognizes that it can't be fought. G, he's gone in with an RP, but this is not a fight he should be taking. He goes down as well, only takes down a Leshak with him. Pycat looking for some more entangles here. Infest Brax, he's in the middle of things and really not where he wants to be.
Oh man, Trash Pro teleported in with the Shadow Blade and then just doing so much work. And sooner or later, he's going to be forced to take that fight. Brax infests out and he's going to back off. Another fight where G dies with no Blink Dagger. So delaying that Blink's going to come on sooner. But Pycat, he's still doing work, right? He's not dying any fights. He's actually helping his teammates a lot. And look at him, Maelstrom up. And if he ever gets a Entangle on a hero, that hero's basically dead. So LG's not out of this despite the lack of item on their team, because there's a Shadow Blade up. Queen of Pain's going for a Orchid very, very soon, so...
And these all clashes somewhat favor them, because they actually got their... These small clashes got their support some XP. Lion gets up to level 6, Lion gets up to like Jakiro gets up to level 6, and now they're getting some tier 1 tower mid out of it. So this is actually pretty good for them. They're actually going to pull ahead as far as gold goes if they can win this fight, or at least get this tier 1 tower. They're going to look to have to back off here. Surge coming in. They're looking for this line, but it's Pycat on the front lines completely caught out. There's no real backup inside. There is an Ice Path coming in. Disruption used offensively. Invasion MUFC. They're trying to bring down Pycat. Is there enough damage to do so? Another Blink Scream could finish him off, but... At the same time, TFT wants to be careful not to put himself in harm's way. He blinks past, dodges the Ice Path, takes out Pycat, and now the open wounds go. They're trying to turn things around here on TFG on the high ground. There's meanwhile on the low ground, it's FZFZ. He's chasing, he's looking for 1437, nothing to cancel this TP. TP out from Jakiro. Leshek for Lone Druid. The T1 tower does take a fall, actually picked up by Pycat, so MUFC's slight edge with that trade, but very, very minimal, and it's actually dead even still as far as
LGD they'll fight this RP and Infest is down in a couple of seconds. We're gonna see the Infest, we're gonna see the Blink RP, just a skewer into a Hex. Misery on top of it, Hex, come on, Hex him, there you go, and that's gonna be yet another kill going against TFG. That Orchid further being delayed, Blink Daggers up, immediately picks up a kill. So LGD, they got the team fight now with the Blink RP Infest as well as a follow-up from Jakiro. And suddenly this game is not as well as it could be for MUFC. Trash player does have a Shadow Blade. He needs more. Whether it's picking up a Mask of Madness like CTY did on his basically snowball out of control game for Visha Gaming, or he has to go for a Yasha. He needs something. Maybe even a BKB.
And here comes the smoke train. They're headed top with a maxed out skewer for plenty of range to initiate, and they've got Dust as well on Mag. Blink, skewer, Dust is there. They're not even going to skewer.
Too easy.
Just bring him down.
Too
easy.
easy.
That was such a simple kill. They didn't even need the other supports who were smoked up, both Lion as well as Jakiro. It was just a two-man job, and they bring down the SF, and that's just really some cocky play coming out of the Shadow Fiend. You shouldn't be farming there alone, especially after they've just picked off Queen of Pain and they're looking for more blood. And at this point, I feel like LGD, the momentum's all in their favor. They suddenly got the edge in this game with all the farm coming on some of their key heroes. Pycat's there, Lifesteal's got all in phase drum, and he's going to have an armlet now as well. And then you've got Mag, who has his Blink Dagger up, has Dust, walking around the map with this. And if anything, LGD with all these core items suddenly look a lot scarier than MUFC did.
Oh man, Wang trying to do a push with his teammate, but he's going to perhaps even make it out alive, not with Misery coming here. They see FC, he's going to be dead as well. No TP out against that Hex. Yes, Misery providing the chain stun. Tower, by the way, still defended. That was like the third or fourth time I've seen MUFC trying to push down that tower, but every single time, LGD just TBs and defends that one. Back in the mid lane here, TFG is going to try to put some pressure, but I don't think she's going to bring down the tower either. Yeah, teleportation comes in. LGD just doesn't give you anything for free.
Yeah, the only tower they've given up was that tier 1 mid, which they gave up a good 10-15 minutes ago, I feel, and LGD International are really starting to find some momentum, find their footing in this game. MUFC, a few slip-ups here and there, but mostly it's just LGD playing really, really well in these mid-game clashes.
And here we go, Magnus infesting.
Yeah.
Any solo hero they see, dead.
Yeah, it's really difficult for anyone in MUFC to farm. They have to stay stuck together, and when you've got an SF who wants to keep on farming, get that BKB up, it's hard to do just that.
Pycat's going to be leading a charge up top. They want that kill. I mean, if they don't get a hero kill, they'll push in deeper and deeper and basically get that creeper layer boom going their way.
Yep. Well, for MUFC, you almost have to look for maybe for a smoke gank now with 2-3 heroes. Try use someone as bait like the SF. He got picked off last time at top lane, but if they do something like that where he's bait, the defensive disruption is there to help keep him alive a bit longer, then things can go their way. But I think they're just reluctant to do that when they still don't have a BKB on Hontrash player.
Yeah, they also have a mech, so that bait could actually turn out pretty well. And Hontrash player is mid, Queen of Pain is mid. He could be the bait. The thing is, he needs backup from his teammates. No jump just yet.
The key one, because whoever gets jumped on, the RP, the lifesteal damage will almost always be brought down unless there's a defensive disruption there. But I like this from MUFC. They find a way into the Roshan pit, and they've got so much ward vision around the Rosh pit as well. They're probably feeling pretty safe here, except from Smoking. But they see Pycat top. They know Pycat's not there. He suddenly realizes what's going on, but it looks like he's too late to the party.
Ooh, Hontrash player picks up a huge one here. No, Queen of Pain actually picks up the Aegis to ensure they get the Orchid. Look at a goal. Queen of Pain blinks up. That's going to be a free kill, right? Blink. RP just being dropped. Not too sure whether that's worth it. Because of the Aegis, Aegis gets blown up. Immediately, Darkseer just dies to Misery. But here comes the chase of the Radiant. Oh, Misery's going to get picked off first. And Queen of Pain with the Aegis respawn is going to be huge. Macropie gets dropped as well. Pycat still very, very tank. Sonic Wave, I think, whisked basically completely. Pycat's going to be the second death here, but not before. He's going to try to kill him. Wang Wang, Maelstrom damage. Not going to be enough. Survives with 66 HP. Overall, a really, really aggressive RP for G. And Aegis on her. Maybe they expected
Darkseer as well. They thought they could get Darkseer and Queen of Pain, I think, but Darkseer got a full wall of Replica and Vacuum just before he went down there, so the Queen of Pain Aegis being used for good use there.
Yeah, I mean, the damage has been done. Sure, he got the kill on Darkseer, but he unloaded all of his spells. Maybe they expected the Shadow Fiend to have the Aegis, because that's generally the standard choice, but it ended up really, really hurting them. Hontrash player up to... I'm not sure what he's going to get. Is it going to be a full BKB purchase?
We've seen a lot in the past where you just get the Yoga Club, then say, I'm not going to go for the full BKB. Let's go back for the Manta style or some other item, but he's got enough gold for a BKB. The Courier's in use for the time being, so maybe he's just going to wait for it to be available. But
no, it is BKB. Yeah.
I think it's against Lion Jakiro, definitely worthwhile. Even the slow from the Lifestealer can cause some issues, and with that BKB, he's pretty much the only thing that can disable him is going to be a Mag Ultimate, and well, no, sorry, not just Mag Ultimate. You've also got the Entangle from Lone Druid, but I think he feels a lot safer with it.
That range creep just had like sight vision of 2020 or something. He saw through like a jungle of trees and ward off the entire gang from LGD. And here comes a rotation from MUFC. Orchid is up, so they can actually take some fight offensively right now by disabling that Magnus with disabling the Lifestealer. And LGD knows that. They're going to back off.
Well, LGD playing much more safe now that they're back in this game. When they were behind, they took some chances with the Mag Lifesteal, but now they find themselves the ones actually being more aggressive and controlling this game. They're like, okay, let's play a bit more safe. We're in this game. We've got our items up on Mag as well as Lifestealer. Lone Druid going to be looking towards probably an Assault Crest now with 2.2k gold. They want to make sure these next couple team fights are in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, again, if this game goes long enough, Lifestealer, Lone Druid, they out-carry the Shadow Fiend fairly easily. So they're going to go for this tower. Here comes Brax, going to get that deny. Again, you don't get anything for free, man.
Nothing at all being picked up for free. Only, well, the third T1 tower down. Both teams losing all their T1s now. But the other thing going late game, Mag, much more, I feel, is a slightly better late game team fight here than a Darkseer. Or probably a bit more than a slightly better one. Quite significantly stronger than a Darkseer late game. Sure,
I mean, his extra stun we've seen last game, very, very good against BKB. Or not, you know, just initiation power is a lot higher there as well. Darkseer is more so for like the AoE disruption, whereas G's Magnus definitely going for the kills whenever he drops RP. So Misery's gonna get some levels on the mid lane. It's very, very important for them to pick up that level 11 because it changes to Finger of Death. Damage very, very high, and the cooldown scales very well for line as well. So just want to pick that one up. But as I say that, Winter and Wang Wang looking to gank together. They did a lot of good rotation early, and that's what put their team ahead. But since then, the ganks are really far and few in between.
Winter's got the perfect support score. He's 0-0-12.
Jesus, that's really, really good.
That is absolutely insane. His position has been really spot on. He's just defensive and offensive disruptions. Mag, TP's bottom. He's got the life still inside him. Uh-oh! RP not going to be used here. Shadow Blade up as well. Is there any dust? It doesn't look like it. He's going to turn around and fight. Use that RP. Nope, he decides to run. Brax is going to fight. Mag going to run, and this could be the death of Brax. He's going to have to... He's got no infest. He's already used to go in the Mag. He's trying to turn around. He brings down the SF. Bit of a misplay there coming out of SF.
Uh-oh, and Wang Wang could be in a little bit of trouble. G very, very healthy in HP. He's bottling up, but he does have Skewer as well. If they see G, or they see Wang Wang, that's going to be a free kill. They don't chase. Darkseer is going to be there. Misery even, Pycat's even TP's in, but he's going to find farm here, so no big deal.
That trade definitely favors LGD. I mean, your opponents only have one carry, your team has two carry. If you're trading carry for carry, means Pycat's getting farm and not being brought down. It's slowing down your opponent's only late game hope.
Yeah, I mean, Hontrash player got very greedy there. I think he wanted to just turn back to get the last hit, but Pycat says, alright, I'm dead anyway, so let's keep fighting my way out, and he just got that free kill.
Yeah, or Brax did. He's playing the Lifestealer.
Man, these guys just switching it up game after game, confusing the hell out of me. TFG is going to take advantage of this chaos going on the bot lane here. Going to be going for a blocking bar. What do you think about BKB? I like BKB on Shadow Fiend. I'm not sure if I like it as much on Queen of Pain here.
Yeah, it's. I guess what are your other options here? You're up against two spells that go through it with the Mag RP as well as the Entangle, but you need to go something to help you tank up because you're getting brought down very quickly. It's either going to be Magic Immunity or just raw HP. I think Aghanim Scepter would maybe work okay.
I love that item in this case. Generally, I hate it because it just makes your ultimate a little bit stronger. But we know these team fights going to go pretty long. You want the damage, and if you go actually snipe off with a higher damage ultimate on these supports, it won't be bad. Now, obviously, BKB is just overall a lot safer of a choice, but still, I mean, the Scythe, or the Hex, excuse me, from line, if he gets you first, it doesn't matter if you have BKB, you're going to be dead.
Same if you get Blink skewered by Mag or Blink RP'd, or just first hit entangled, you're dead, even with that BKB being up. So, I think with the Orchid already there too, to help sustain your mana, to help use an Accept, it would be a nice little pickup, but BKB slightly safer from TFG. Doesn't he be careful? There is a Mag lurking nearby with an infested Lifestealer looking for him in the jungle, but not going to be the case. He blinks down towards bottom lane and it looks like they're going to be grouping up down there. No ages for another 4 or 5 minutes and Hon Trash Player continuing to farm. He's got BKB Shadowblade, so we'll see 2.4k gold. Most likely a Manta style. Maybe we look to even go straight Butterfly to help give some evasion against Lone Druid and Lifestealer though. Yeah,
that's a fair point. I mean, they're right-clicking very, very hard, so... But movement speed and form is also a survivability, so it's not, whatever he gets here, it's going to be very, very helpful. The reason that we saw the Magnus and the Lifestealer combo walking in deep enemy jungle is that they had a ward very, very deep in the high plateau. We see really high-level teams always trying to ward in the enemy jungle, especially when you have this like slight lead, because you could definitely extend your lead by going for these random pickoffs that normally the enemy team don't expect. Brax going to be getting some far mid. The thing about Brax, I feel like his item progression hasn't been too impressive. Does he have something flying in the career? I don't know. He doesn't have anything. He's just sitting at Armlet Drums Phase, which it's a decent item set, but he needs a little bit more to carry his team in.
Yeah, probably looking towards that Basher Abyssal Blade build we saw last game, especially against an SF BKB and Queen of Pain. There's going to be 2 BKBs here, so having the Bash lock him down and then the reliable stun with the Abyssal Blade is a nice little late game pickup that you can be getting. So we'll look to see what he goes for. Eagle Song picked up by Shadow Fiend, so it's straight into the Butterfly, and I like this choice considering the evasion is going to help a lot. Although, like you mentioned, movement speed from a Yasha essentially acts as evasion because it means you're taking less damage, so it does give you survivability. Yeah,
but this is hardcore evasion, which fair to point out is that when you're hexed up by Lion's Voodoo, you do not get that evasion bonus. I'm not sure how much that matters in this game, but it's definitely something to keep at the back of your mind, especially for Misery. That's going to give him more of a reason to actually hex him.
Double damage.
Yep, well, for right now, both teams are sort of backing off, playing a much more safer passive style play. I haven't seen too much action in the last couple of minutes, but now we see the first sort of potential pick-off coming in. It's only going to be a Hon Trash Player, forced out of BKB, but RP is there, and killing off the main carry, the SF, with an RP are going to be well worth it, but they have to finish him off. He's on the run now. He hasn't got the movement speed that a Yasha would have given him, and it looks like he may actually get out of here. Showdown comes in. There's a disruption if they need it for him. Entangled up. Oh, he gets entangled. Lion is actually there to finish him off. And now the fight's going to break out without a Shadow Fiend. And this is where MUFC are going to struggle to fight. Disruption going to be used. And this is going to be looking really bad. Darkseer brought down as well. They're on to TFG now. Can TFG blink on out? He needs to survive this. He does get out just in time. Jewel Breath from Jakiro whiffs everything as G. He's going to go down. Shadow Poison damage. He's being earned up, healed up. 5 HP. One more Shadow Poison. He's dead. Gem gets taken, but that saved the fight from MUFC. That would have been a horrible fight if not for that mag kill at the end.
Yeah, and that was a lucky mag kill to say that. Oh, first hit entangled. This is what we mean.
Ow. Okay. Okay, Bycat.
It's so annoying because it's not 20% or whatever percent it says. It's like 85% when you're playing against Spirit Bear.
It's 20% when it's not a first hit.
Right, the first hit is 85.
Yeah, the first hit's 85. After that, it's maybe 20%. But
yeah. Man, it's just absolutely intense. And throwing away that Queen of Pain kill, suddenly the team fight just went back the other way. With all these like casual kills being taken up back and forth.
Yeah, the kills, I mean, this is the kind of kills which you don't normally see happen in Chinese zone. Although we're not really watching Chinese teams here. MUFC, the Malaysian, LGD, an international squad playing for a Chinese organization. But they do have that sort of Chinese playstyle about them. But right now, they're looking really good after that fight. They're behind by a couple kills, but they killed off Queen of Pain, SF, Darkseer, all those key heroes in that fight. And they're going to get some more scouting vision now with Lone Druid's Illusion. Scouts out 3 heroes there near the Roshan pit. They probably know the Roshan timing as well pretty well, so they'll be ready in position to contest that if need be.
Yeah, we see Brax also sitting at 3,500 gold. So no, he just purchased something pretty big on the courier. That is going to be a Yasha. So going for the race car build. SMY, not exactly a bad item choice for here for the Brax. Also want to point out that in that previous team fight, the two supports of LGD play really, really well. Lion, not generally a support that don't get too much games. He just picked off a lot of kills. And of course, we're showing off the range of that Jakiro. Was able to drop multiple ice path. And here we go.
Another infest into the mag. They're going to be looking for those early pickoffs here. If you can find, it's finding a big blink RP is not going to be possible. What he's looking for is probably a blink skewer for a pickoff.
Ooh, are we seeing a big wrap around?
Maybe if it's Queen of Pain or SF, you go for a blink RP because you're not going to be able to kill a Queen of Pain without an RP, considering she can just blink out of there, BKB up as well. But
oh, this is going to be big smoke wrap around. Let's see if LGD expects that they're farming in the jungles right now. 1437 could be a good pick off Surge. Oh, they're gonna only get 1437. The wall just completely whiffs, only gonna get one. I think the Radiant could take this fight right now, but no, as I say that, silence up, force staff up, and here comes the buyback. FCFC, there's a big finger of death. He's still gonna survive, the RP's gonna hit, but I don't think how good of the RP is. Queen of Pain's low in terms of HP. Brax is fighting, but here comes a huge Requiem. You know, he fakes it out, uses it a second time. Brax taking the full Brunto damage. He's gonna try to fight his way out. A 1-for-1 trade. Misery just dies to the Requiem, and he gets those entangles. Wang Wang not gonna outlast a Pycat. And I think Radiant overall winning the fight. Multiple buybacks are used on the LG team, and I think it's pretty even. Let's see what Pycat can do. He's gonna try to run into the Roshan pit. I'm not sure whether he could take it down by himself.
Yeah, 4-for-4 trade, buyback coming out from the mag, but it's only Shadow Demon who survives on the dire side, while Lone Druid was alive the entire fight. He got himself a ton of gold as well from all those kills he was getting. Winter's still yet to die. He's 1-0-17 now. That is, as a support player, that is just incredible. But unfortunately, he's not going to be able to stop this Roshan on his own. He's going to scare that with a Shadow Poison. Not going to happen though.
Basically, Shadow Fiend's buyback that went down the drain.
Yeah, that is. I guess because it was a 2v2 scenario near the Roshan pit, thinking they could go for it, but absolutely unnecessary. He had his butterfly as well.
Well, if he bought back about 10 seconds earlier, because he definitely waited and hesitated for that buyback, and because of that, the buyback became useless. If he did it earlier, I think that might have been enough to scare or at least make Pycat and the team hesitate a little bit more, and the Dust won't take the Roshan, but not only is Roshan claimed the buyback is also down, so Shadow Fiend's going to be further away from his butterfly. Overall, very, very bad result for MUFC.
Yeah, fully agree now, and LGD.int, they're going to be still behind a couple kills. Goldgraph still says we're very, very even, but it really feels like that LGD.int are just sort of slightly outmaneuvering MUFC in most of these recent fights. Even when MUFC looked to do a nice little smoke around there, catch him from behind, they only caught the Jakiro in front. That was really just an unfortunate positioning on who they caught out there, and the Darkseid wall was wasted again. So they have to hit. Darkseid needs to go for a nice ultimate. Queen of Pain needs to be having some nice plays with the Orchid. Last fight it was used well on the mag, but in these upcoming fights, it's going to be so important to catch out the right heroes. And Mag building a BKB just to make sure he can get off an ultimate, so he has a way out of that silence fairly soon. Yeah,
good choice here on Magnus. Generally, we see him just tank out with things like Vanguard, but against the silence stick, you need that BKB, and that's what he's going for. Pycat healing back up on his actual human form, as you do have a slightly vastly smaller HP pool, so you could try and go boots back up. But speaking of him, he's actually fairly big now with AC on the bear, Maelstrom on the bear, face boot on him as well. And he just needs something like a cloak or hood, which he has. If he wants to upgrade everybody's damage, a Vlad's would be very, very viable. Or if he could want to go for a Maelstrom, hey, again, he has so much item choices available, and he's actually farming rather well. He's got 3.6k gold in the bank, so he should be fine.
At this point with the Butterfly on SF, maybe we even look towards the Monkey King Barrow and the Spirit Bear.
Yeah, that's fair.
But whatever it may be, there's Lifestealer who can do some damage. Lifestealer going for a Sanjin Yasha sort of suggests he's not going to be going... They're putting a lot more focus on the Lone Druid for doing the late game damage and also shutting down the SF. Lifestealer just wants the mobility. The movement speed will help him with maybe killing off the Leshrac in most of these fights. Darkseid as well, just keep up and have that mobility there, but actually killing off the SF is going to be a lot harder when we've got this evasion, the Butterfly completed, which is still got 1400 gold to go, so it's not going to be anytime soon MUFC are looking to fight.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate that SMY is perfectly almost a perfect item choice here for Brax, the way that he's playing. All these team fight, he basically pops Rage, pops Open Wound, and runs straight at the Shadow Fiend. He knows he's eventually going to die, and because he's going to die, his item progression is not going to be too impressive later on in the game. But for now, SNY gives you the best stats, the best damage and mobility possible for, what is that, 4.1.5k investment. It's actually really, really good. He knows he's going to have his back covered with Lone Druid, so really, he just needs to be that mid-game carry that he is right now.
Yeah, I like him. We're going to see another possible engagement coming mid lane. Mag saying, where's this lifesteal? He spent probably about a good 10 minutes of this game infested inside him, and he needs to do so again if they want to try fight mid lane. But LGD, they've got this Aegis for another 4 or 5 minutes, so they're not going to be going for a fight just yet. Javelin's being picked up for Pycat, so it is going to be that MKB build. He needs just another 1k gold, and he's going to have that. Maybe that's around when LGD think they have this timing push ready. They'll have the Aegis still. They'll be able to look to push in. They're going to go for the tier 2 bottom. And so they've got 4 or 5 heroes grouped up around there. This will give them enough gold for the MKB. And also they can start getting some more pushing going, take down another needed outer tower. And for MUFC, I don't think they're not going to be able to defend this. It looks like they'll just have to sack it.
Missing a couple of last on that creep wave. They'll have to sell the Bracer for the Blink Dagger. But still a very, very huge pickup here. Being able to shut down the Blink, shut down the Queen of Pain before he pops the BKB is a very, very big thing. Also, we also see him almost every time using his Finger of Death on the Darkseer to, basically either take him out of fight instantly or disrupt him. Here we go, initiation against FC. FC, the Finger of Death. Look at that. He's dead. No more wall, no more vacuum. I think with that, LGD is going to try to claim that Rax.
Yeah, not a good pick off for MUFC. They're not going to be too happy about that one. They've got to find some way of going in. Queen of Pain is going to blink big BKB and try to bring down Brax. Brax is silenced up, but they haven't got the damage to actually bring him down. Hon Trash Play is actually stunned. He's being completely shut out of this fight, and now Leshrac takes a fall as well. LGD have found a way to break onto the high ground. MUFC, they lose the Shadow Fiend as well. Hon Trash Play take a fall. So it looks like Winter as well gets his first death of the game at 37 minutes in, and it's trying to defend his Raxes. They're not going to be able to do so. Queen of Pain, the only one left alive, and this is a... They can't go mid, there's a tier 2, but they can go top, or they could just go for the tier 4 GG.
Wow, that's exactly what they're going for. Now, when you have a Lone Druid like this, a very, very good choice. Of course, Liquid Fire, very, very helpful in that as well. I mean, even if they have to back off right now, still a huge victory, but I don't think they need to. With 46 seconds dead on Shadow Fiend, that's just a clean GG. Yeah, well played on LGD. I just love the initiation from the line. Blinks in, picks up the Darkseer, and you just win the game.
Yeah, Darkseer caught out there. That was not his best moment, but it was really just smart, seizing the opportunity. LGD and get the pick off, and as soon as they do that, they know this, they can go high ground. Lone Druid with the Assault Crest, the push was ready, and LGD in, it took them 3 games, 2 really close games. The first game was a bit in there, it was quite heavily in their favor, but game 2 especially, an 80-minute marathon, and game 3, from start to finish, it was really anyone's game. LGD just edged out MUFC, so they're going to be going on to the grand finals to meet Orange Esports.
Yeah, we're going to have a long day in front of us. Orange Esports gets a 1-game advantage because they came to the winner bracket. But I think LGD looking for some revenge because they got too old, I think, right? By Orange. Yeah, they got too old, so they really need to step it up. But we will have that for you in just a bit. I think the players, I hope, are getting ready to go. But for now, this has been a presentation of Beyond the Summit. I am Luminous. You can follow me everywhere. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter as Luminous Inverse. And BTS Gods on Twitter and GGNet Gods on Facebook. Hope you guys are enjoying the broadcast so far. We'll have a best of 5 coming your way. And until next time, this is us taking a momentary break.